All right, it's 3 p.m. and a very warm and sincere welcome to all the participants gathered here with us today. We truly value and appreciate your presence. Mindfulness is a mental practice focused on being intensely aware of what you're sensing and feeling in the moment without interpretation or judgment. Originating from Buddhist tradition, it has gained widespread popularity for its mental health benefits. Practicing mindfulness involves techniques like meditation, breathing exercises, and guided imagery. These practices help reduce stress, enhance emotional regulation, and improve focus and concentration. By fostering a present moment awareness, mindfulness can lead to greater clarity of mind, helping individuals respond more calmly and effectively to life's challenges. This clarity performs better decision making, emotional resilience, and an overall sense of well being. HR Association of India welcomes you all to the 2024 Dialogue Masterclass series on the topic Mindfulness Unleashing Clarity of Mind. To know more about HRA and its events, I would request all our participants to visit the link and details posted in the chat window. Request all the participants to kindly follow the webinar guidelines mentioned in the chat window. I now take the privilege to introduce our esteemed speaker for today, Ankita Chelappa, founder of Moment to Moment Living. Ankita Chelappa is an experimenter of self awareness and its impact on human mind and emotions. She started her entrepreneurial journey after 17 years of corporate experience. Currently, she is an entrepreneur and founder of Moment to Moment Living. As the founder of MTML, her focus is to empower people with practical tools and strategies on how we can master our minds and emotions. Her 7-year coaching journey has helped people from all walks to embrace life and make it better. She started her coaching career with teens. This upgraded her performance, relationships, and confidence. She is a certified academic life coach from Coach Training Edu USA, trained by the founder of Mr. John Andrew Williams, MCC. She is also master's degree in literature from St. Xavier's College, Ahmedabad, and master degree in personal management from Warwick Business School, UK. Ankita speaks from authenticity and real experiences. Her vision is to spread the awareness that a utopian world starts from each one of us. She is fortunate to have been invited to business schools, national and international, and corporates to help individuals lead a better life through observing themselves and their minds. You can follow her on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Without wasting much time, I now hand over the platform to Nikita. Over to you. You're on mute. Uh,
So, a big thank you, Faisal, Peter, Sham. Thanks so much for inviting me today. So, Faisal, you've given a long and elaborate introduction to mindfulness. So, certain things I'll be able to skip. So, how I have designed the structure of today's session. Yeah, I will be telling you the problem and the solution, and at the same time, we will be practically doing things. Okay, because mindfulness is all about practice, 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 right? So, let me start by saying that what happens in our normal life is that we are all living in an autopilot mode. Okay, so we are not aware of what is happening in our mind. So it's an accidental life. What is an accidental life? Accidental life is which happens to you. Okay, for example, let's say you are in college and you don't know what to do for your career. You see what your friends are doing and you do it. Okay, so there is no thought process involved. Even for interviews, you go for an interview just because you know there's a walk-in and you've not thought about it. That is accidental living. What is conscious living? So, mindfulness does this, it makes us conscious. And conscious living is about knowing what you are doing, okay, and not letting just life happen to you. So there are five types of clutters, okay. Since we are talking about mental clarity, there are five types of clutters which we all need to know. One is physical clutter, which is in our house or in the offices. That's the physical clutter. The second clutter is the digital clutter, which is in the I'm just getting used to not seeing faces, okay? So I'm just conscious that I cannot see anybody and I'm just looking at the screen. So second is digital clutter. Digital clutter is our email boxes, or let's say our laptop, which is all filled with files. And today we are going to talk about three clutters, okay? Mental clutter, emotional clutter, and spiritual clutter. So mindfulness takes care of mental, emotional, and spiritual trash which we carry in our mind, right? Now, why is this required? Okay, let's say you have a car which is a driverless car. Okay, we are not talking about AI driven car. Okay, this is the car which we drive day to day, and it doesn't have a driver. It will, what do you expect? It will just go from one place to the other, and it will get dented from all sides, right? That is what, that is how we are living in our minds. We, the thoughts are just coming in, and we have no control over them. So research, what does research say? That we get 80,000 to 60,000 thoughts every single day. And out of these thoughts, 80% of them are negative, repetitive. Okay. Now I have a beautiful analogy which I'm going to show you. Right. So this is more about mind learning. I have water. This represents the mind. Okay. So what tends to happen is that since we are all on autopilot mode, not knowing, and thoughts are just coming in every single day, this represents, okay, this is mud, which represents the thoughts. They are coming in. You're not aware consciously. And then what happens? These thoughts bring in emotions, emotions of various kinds. Okay. So let's say if the thoughts are not good, we'll get bitter thoughts like Karela. Okay. So I'm putting in some Karela here. Yeah. And we get sour thoughts. So I'm putting in some lemon. Okay. And not always do we get bad emotions, right? Because of our thoughts, we get good. So I'm putting in some sugar. Now, what happens is that in our day to day life, we are not conscious, right? So the mind keeps on stirring, and we don't know what's happening. This is the nature of an autopilot mind. Now, how mindfulness fits in, okay? I have a sieve, right? So mindfulness, what it does, it cleans up all the dirt because you are conscious. Okay. So I'm just straining it here, and you will see that the mud is down there. Okay. Not everything has gone inside, and the water is slightly clear, right? Now, so when we do this, especially as parents, what happens is that, and I'm becoming more conscious nowadays, is that from generation to generation the trauma has been passed on, and if we are conscious, we will put in new thoughts, and this water becomes clean, slowly, slowly. And if that water is given to the generation after us, imagine what we leave behind. Right. So, are you with me? How will I know if you are listening, if you are understanding? Is there any way which I can know?
Yeah, we
Because
can
my
have it in the chat box.
okay,
Everyone can put a thumbs up or yeah, the
great. I
emojis
saw
too.
Neha
Correct.
and Shyam's thumbs up. Okay, great. So you're with me. Wonderful. So this is the analogy about the mind. Okay. So now, how do we make this clear? I have a small exercise for you, and it's an easy one, but it helps in a good decision making. So there are four major areas in our life: mental, financial, sorry, not mental, health, financial, relationships, and fourth is, so I said health, financial, and career. Okay. Four: health, finance, relationships, career. Now, of these four, what I'd like you to do right now, you prioritize which one stands first in your life. If it's health, health. The second one could be work, career. Third could be relationship. So I leave it to you. Okay. And I'm giving you 2 minutes. This is important. Why? Because we are starting a clearing journey right now. The more clear you are about your priorities, the better it will be for your decisions. The second point, while prioritizing, keep in mind 5 years. Okay. So for the next 5 years, this is what is going to be your priority. Can you do that for me? Yeah. Any questions? Please ask. I see something in the chat. So let me see. No. Are you with me? Can any one of you turn on the cameras? Human to human interaction. Four areas. This by the way helps me a lot, okay, in my decision making. Thanks so much, Faisal.
Actually, most of them are in the office, so maybe they couldn't in their videos.
Or
No,
could be
Neha,
some
you
have
don't
joined
need
from
to.
mobile phone.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, Neha, you don't need to type in the answer, but as long as you are clear, it's a thumbs up to you. So great. Then I think most of you might have done because it's easy, not very difficult. So now, how I would want you to see it is that when you have a problem in decision making, you know your priorities now. So make your decisions accordingly. Now, why clarity of mind is important? Okay, how it is helping me is that clarity of mind has helped me in clearing my thinking. It has helped me in clearing my decision making. It has helped me in clearing my mind, certainly. So, better sleep, better health. So how we don't realize, but clarity of mind helps us in so many ways. So, this is one conscious thinking that we need to come to. Now, what happens? There's a nice story, okay? And as I was preparing for this, I heard it from Sadhguruji. Okay. So there was a man like us who was working in his office, and it was almost evening time. So he looks at his watch and he sees that, oh, it's 7 o'clock. And he remembered that his wife has told him that by 8 o'clock you have to come home. So he starts winding up, shuts down his computer, packs his bag, and he's walking. And as he's walking on the road, something attracts him, and that's a bar. Okay. So he goes inside and he says, let me just have a small one today. So he has one, and then he has another one, and then he has another one, and another one. And in this, he forgets to look at his watch. Now, what happens when he realizes that, oh, I need to come home, and he looks at his watch? It is 2 a.m. So again, he tries to stand up, but you know how wobbly he would be by then. So he sits down. Again, he tries to stand, but again, he sits down. Finally, at the third attempt, he is able to stand in his 2 feet. And he starts walking, and he comes out of the bar, all wobbly walk. And as he is walking, so now he is a double driverless car, okay? Our driverless mind is already there. Now he is double. So he fumbles and he falls into a rose bush. Now you know how thorny it is. So he falls there and he falls face down. So it really hurts him and there are bruises all across. He goes home since he has the key. He opens the door, goes to the bathroom, and he sees, oh my God, my face is all has hurt here and there. So he opens the medical box and starts putting in the cream, the tape, and everything all across his face and goes to sleep. Now, suddenly, he feels a gush of water on him. Okay. Now, what has happened? His wife has poured water on him in the morning. And he starts explaining, saying, darling, you know, I told you I will not have it. And I did not have it for the past 6 months, but yesterday I had little. Wife does not utter a word. She pulls him to the bathroom and shows him the mirror, you know, where he had seen his face. And you know what he sees? All the tapes and the creams are on the mirror, not on his face. Okay. Now, what this story tells us? We look for clarity outside, but clarity comes only when there is clarity within us. So, external looking for external clarity does not work. We need to look inside of us. Now, what happens is Aristotle has said something very beautiful. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Okay, I'm repeating this because you need to remember. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. And science has proven something very beautiful. How many of you have heard about neuroplasticity? Hands up, please raise your hands if you've heard of neuroplasticity. Okay, wonderful. Aisha, wonderful. Yeah, I can't read the names. I can't read all the names. I'm sorry. But thanks for acknowledging. Thanks, Sham. So, neuroplasticity is nothing but you connect nerves in a different way. Okay. And how does this happen? When you start putting in new information again and again. Okay. Just as we saw how we were using the strainer to clean the water, in the same way, we put in new information and we repeat that information. When then repetition happens, the neural pathways become strong. Okay, that is what happens. So, this is what happens through mindfulness because you are mindful about what you're putting inside. Due to social media, we are not mindful. Okay, what happens? In fact, how many of you have read the book Hooked? Hooked by Neer Eyal, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. So, what is this book Hooked about? Hooked is about how the apps have been created to form habits. Okay, so the app designer have taken care of human psychology so that we are hooked on to it and not hooked on to our work. Yeah, and how this all happens is is through, for example, you're working, you're not conscious, okay? You're that accidental mind, you're working. And suddenly there is a notification. Ta-dang, sound, okay? You looked at the phone and you see, somebody has mentioned your name. Arey, kisne mention kiya? So you click on it. Now, due to algorithms, the software knows what you've been searching, what you've been reading, and some shiny picture pops up. So you start scrolling. and you don't realize 20 minutes, 30 minutes goes by. Okay. So this is the world, distracted world that we are in. Being mindful is being mindful of that distraction, that you don't put trash inside. Okay. No trash inside. Because imagine, okay, we spoke about very briefly about physical clutter. We don't go shopping and shop for trash, right? Then why are we putting trash inside? It's very, very simple logic, right? So now again to connect. So this is the end of the mental clutter. What we looked at first, we looked at the autopilot mind. Okay, these are your takeaways, by the way. So if you have any questions, please ask me. We looked at the autopilot mind. We looked at how we are only focusing on external for our clarity. We need to focus on our internal clarity. We looked at the priorities, which helps our decision making better. And we also looked at how distracted we are so that we are more mindful of what we are putting inside our mind. Now, I come to the second part, which is emotional clutter. And this is very interesting. And somehow, sorry, I'm not able to share my screen, but I would like you to imagine you on a horse. Okay, can you see that in your eyes? You riding on a horse, okay? And suddenly the horse decides to stand up and you fall down, okay? And then the horse is still running and you are being dragged by it. Now, this is how emotions drag us. So, here the representation is that the horse is the emotion, and we who are not able to control the horse are being dragged by emotions. Does that happen in our life? With anger, with stress, not able to control, the horse is pulling us and we are getting pulled by it. Right? Now, what happens is when we are aware about our emotional clutter, we can nicely ride the horse, saying that, horse, you are not the master. I am the master. I will control my anger. I am in charge of my frustration. I am in charge of my stress. Right? So now, again, coming to science, the beautiful science, okay, of the brain. Our brain is divided into three parts. Okay, three parts. We are born with the reptilian brain, which is right at the back. That takes care of our basic needs, okay, water, food, etc. Yeah. Then comes the limbic brain, which is the brain of emotions. And then the front part is the prefrontal cortex. Now, you know what this is called? Since we are all into business and work, it's called the CEO of the brain. Okay, so our prefrontal cortex is called the CEO of the brain. Now, why is that? What happens in our emotional brain when there is any trigger, let's say of fear? The amygdala fires up. Now, when the amygdala fires up, the CEO is closed. The CEO cannot see anything. The CEO can only see the fear. So it's either the fight mode or the flight mode. Either you run away or you fight it. Okay. So when you fight it, it's more of reaction. But if you are mindful of your fear, what tends to happen is that your CEO will be aware. Okay. CEO will lighten up. Now, why the CEO will lighten up is because, just as I said, mindfulness is about practice, practice, practice. Okay. And do you have water with you? Yes, no, yes. You can type in the chat box. We can do a very chotu exercise. Yes, Neha, wonderful. So, what you can do is mindfulness is about being present. And I would just want you to take one gulp of water, but to be aware about the whole process. Okay. how you lift your glass, okay, or water bottle, how you are taking it. Can we do that? So, in silence, we just observe what we are doing and what sensations we are feeling. Yeah. So, if you want to start small practices from today, this is how you start. Either you drink water or you eat something mindfully. You know, I like to eat an apple very mindfully because the way you take a bite and the way when you bite it more, the juice, which normally we are not aware. Okay. And then what I've realized is that the gratitude increases when you start practicing these practices. Um, One thing also, like last week, I met a friend. He's into recruitment. Okay. For almost 25 years now. And he said that, now the resumes that we get, they have either 6 months of experience in one organization. So 3 years, they have changed around 7 to 8 jobs. Okay. So that is what made me think, why is this happening? Okay. And I went through the Forbes report, and it says that there are three reasons why Generation Z is moving so fast. First, they are looking for meaning. Second, they are looking for growth. And third, they are looking for balance. Now, why this clarity will help you is that don't look for meaning outside. Don't go to an organization and start looking for meaning. You look for your meaning and then look at whether the organization's vision and your meaning is coinciding. Then what will happen is that you'll be able to put in more, you will be able to give in more input to the organization, right? So otherwise, you are just cost to the company. So if any Gen Zs are here, remember this: don't look for meaning in the organization. Look for meaning inside, and then join the organization. So, coming back to our emotional clarity. Now, when the horses are riding, okay, we tend to make wrong decisions. I have had clients who have quit or resigned only in anger, not realizing that he is the whole and soul of his earning member of the house. Okay. And not once, twice, thrice. Right. So emotions have that capacity to just stop the CEO, our prefrontal cortex, and to just act from the limbic brain. Okay. And I think maturity comes from the prefrontal cortex. Otherwise, you will not make emotional decisions. And most of our decisions are emotional, right? Right from marriage to work to everything. Yeah. Uh, so what happens with this practice is that a whole new attitude comes into being. If I talk about my life, my bouncing back capacity has 100% transformed. Okay. Earlier, if something would happen, it would take me 5 days to forget, 6 days to forget. Now it's minutes. Okay. So what happens with this? The productivity increases. Because imagine if you've done a nice presentation and you've forgotten to save it. Okay. And you will, for 1 hour, 2 hours, you will just not like to start again because the pain is so much. But with mindfulness, what happens is that, okay, it's gone. Okay, that's how I am taking it. And you will also be taking it once you start this practice. Because many organizations, for example, Google has started a special program which is called Search Inside Yourself. So every team lead, before he takes a new offer as a team lead, goes through this 2 day program so that he can bring in that culture of mindfulness within the organization. Now, we'll do a small exercise. Okay. Now, why this exercise? It's called the body scan. Have you heard of body scan? Anybody has heard of body scan? Yes. No. Okay. So why this you can do even in office. So let's say you have a very important presentation to make, or you have to go for an important interview, right? This body scan will help you to calm yourself. So I would just invite you to close your eyes and just follow my instructions, and just try to see what I'm doing. It's very simple, and that therefore you'll be able to do it anytime, anywhere. Okay, so just close your eyes and take a deep breath. See where you feel your breath inside your body. Is it your chest or your abdomen area? Just check where you feel your breath. And then take your attention to your head. Just relax. If you find anything, any tension, try to calm it down, because currently we are in no rush. So calm yourself, calm your head. Now bring your focus to your face. Do you see any muscle tightening up? If so, relax. Relax that. Come to the neck, shoulders, and the body, the chest, abdomen. Just relax. Keep your focus on the breath. If you feel any tension anywhere, become aware of it. Come to your thighs, pelvic area, legs, feet. Relax them. Your arms, your hands. Just relax. If you're not used to such exercise, think you're putting new information in your brain. Just try to relax. Do once again a quick body scan. If there is any tightening of muscle, any unease, just calm that. Now come to the present moment. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, and slowly open your eyes. Yes, are you with me now? I need a thumbs up, please. Or you raise your hand. Are you with me? Wow. Thanks, Aisha. Thanks, Hina. Thanks, Peter. So, thanks, Sham. Yes, Neha. So, this is important. Why this is important? Stress releases the same cortisol which fear releases. Okay. Now, what cortisol does, it brings two common diseases which we are all aware of: blood pressure, and second, can anybody guess? Blood pressure and diabetes. Okay. So this is the reason of the life that we live, the stress that we take. And that's why I would suggest do this body scan immediately after going home, so that the pressure of work doesn't go to our family, and we can give our best to our family. And at the same time, you can do in the morning, so that you can start work afresh. And anytime you feel little stress, just bring your awareness to the body, okay, where you feel your breath. Even if you do this 2 3 times a day, it's very beneficial. Even if you are a team lead and leading teams, I would suggest before you start a meeting, at least do the breath work. Because what will happen is that people will, our minds are not trained to go from one thing to the other, though we do that, but we are not able to switch on and off, right? So when you bring in the breath, you give that break to yourself, and then you become present to the moment. Present to the moment is just about this breathing and becoming aware. Now, emotions, we have two types of emotions apart from this fear and all. Okay. We have conscious emotions and we have unconscious emotions. Okay. What is conscious emotion? I'll give you an example. Let's say your boss told you something which was not nice, you felt angry, but you did not express. Okay. So, what you did, you suppressed it. That is conscious. What is unconscious? Unconscious is that part of us which we do not want to see, which we are not liking about ourselves, which is also something, okay, which in the childhood our parents stopped us from doing, which we wanted to do, and that becomes unconscious because we repressed it. Sometimes you don't realize why this triggered you, why this made you angry. Go to your unconscious emotions. Okay. Why this is important, this work is important, because so I have done quite a few things in my journey of mindfulness. Okay. It started with meditation. I did not see any change in me. Then it went on to mindfulness, where I started self observation, that why am I getting triggered? What is it about it? Then I did the shadow work. Okay. Shadow work is looking at the ugliest area of yourself. Okay. And then I also went on to do the inner child healing. Right. What happens when you tap into these unconscious emotions? You become free. You've accepted the ugliest side of you. So this is what you need to become aware of, in terms of the clutter that we are talking about. So there's so much right from our childhood we are carrying, but we never clean it. Okay. We, even in terms of, we are only cleaning our physical environment, but never our mental, emotional, and spiritual. Right. So again, going back to neuroplasticity, what we've learned in the emotions. Okay. We learned about the horse. Okay, that is the first thing we learned. That we need to be in control of the emotional horse we are all carrying. We learned about what fear does to us. Okay, cortisol, and it brings disease. So become aware, right? Third, what we learned is about body scan. Do a quick scan, it helps you. Fourth, what we spoke about is about conscious and unconscious emotions, right? I know there's too much happening right now, right? Only thing, if you focus, is that become alert to what is happening inside. Even if you start that from today, it will help you. Okay. Now, the last, spiritual clutter. इसने मुझे ये कह दिया, उसने मुझे वो कह दिया. I cannot forget what that person said to me. Okay. This is the sign of unforgiveness. John Hopkins' research on forgiveness and health says when you forgive, your health improves. When you forgive, there are less risks of heart attack. When you forgive, there is less blood pressure. When you forgive, there is less stress. When you forgive, there is less diabetes. So imagine what forgiveness can do to you. And by the way, in my life, I have found it very hard to forgive because I was badly lied to. Okay. Lie which I could not in my life accept. Okay. But thanks to the mindfulness practice, I kept on doing this exercise of forgiveness. Now, even when that person comes, I'm able to completely welcome that person. Okay. So that is the beauty of mindfulness. And it's just amazing. Okay. Everything becomes so light and you literally start enjoying life. Okay. I can run with my children, I can jump with my children. All the conscious things which I had in me, that no, you can't do this at this age, no, you can't do that at this age, everything I have thrown out of the window. Okay. So all the deconditioning, everything has helped me. So first is, if you can do simple exercise, can you think of people you've not forgiven? Simple thing. Become conscious. People you have not forgiven. When you become conscious, you start the cleaning up process. Okay. I'm just giving you a few seconds. Just 2, 3 people you think of. Oh, I can't forget that person. Are you with me, people? Is everybody with me? Are you getting something out of this? Because I'm more concerned about that. Wow. Thanks, Aisha. Thank you so much. Thanks, Neha. Thanks, Sandra. Yes, thank you so much. Right? So, since you are aware, now you should become conscious because hate, brings in a lot of negativity within us. Right? So, good you are aware. Now, the second thing about spirituality is not able to let go and holding on. Okay. Now, I remember that for me, I failed in school for 3 years. Okay. And for my entire life, I was thinking, oh, I'm not very intelligent. People are so intelligent. Okay. Then one day, as I was doing my shadow work, it came to me that let me think, if you're thinking that you're not intelligent, let's go with the fact. Okay. I looked at the facts and it was seventh, eighth, and ninth standard that I did not do well. Okay. And then from 10th onwards, again, it was nice. Okay. In fact, going to Warwick was also because it's the top 3 university in the country. Right. So that's when I realized that had I not done this homework, okay, of looking into my failure, I would have just had a upper wala glimpse of that I'm not intelligent. Okay, so then I was able to let go of my failure in a beautiful way by understanding it. So whenever you get time, start journaling because journaling brings out so many things. Okay, we are all oceans, and the deeper you go, you will find pearls inside of you. Okay, that's how beautiful this whole practice is. So start from today, start writing just every day, make sure that you write one page, at least whatever you write, just write, and you see how it flows. Now, what is the solution of spiritual clutter? The solution of spiritual clutter is surrender and trust. Okay. Whatever is happening in your life is happening. Okay. We are not looking, mindfulness is not about judgment, good and bad, because the more we judge, the more sad we become. Because when things are good, we'll be happy. When things are not good, we'll be unhappy. But mindfulness is just accepting everything and observing what it has done to you internally, right? Uh, So trust and surrender is just how do I say? It helps you to let go. If you're holding on to something, holding on to some bad memories, holding on to some words that you were told, okay, for a long time, uh, somebody had called me the worst person, and for a long time, I was holding on to that. Okay. And then when doing my work, I realized, why do I need validation from somebody outside? Okay. You know who you are, and you are not worse. Okay. So the whole relationship that you develop with yourself is something which needs to be cherished. Okay. The whole beauty. And that's why all the negative things, I have also gone through suicidal thoughts. Okay. Not wanting. Mindfulness has brought me, it has saved my life. Okay. And I can vouch that if you start this practice, no matter what happens in your life, you will survive. No matter what happens. Okay. Um, and with trust and surrender, the beauty what will develop in you is your gut and your intuition sharpens. Okay. You will not go outside to ask somebody. You will know within yourself, Arey, yes, sahi decision liya hai. Mujhe pata hai. You know? Yeah. And it's not about boasting. You will feel it inside of you. So this is what spiritual decluttering can do to you. Yeah. So I think it's almost four. So the takeaways from spirituality first is forgiveness. Second, don't hold on. Just let go. Jaane do yaar. Okay. Then third, surrender and trust, which are the solutions. And with this trust and surrender, you develop a beautiful relationship with yourself. At the same time, you develop your gut and your gut instinct, knowing that what you know is right. Uh, so wonderful. Let's keep cleaning. I also do that every day. Okay. Because every day something or the other keeps happening. And that's the beauty of life that you'll be able to experience once you start mindfulness practice. Yes. So
Thank
over to you, Faisal.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Ankita. I request the participants to please post your questions in the chat window if you have any. And thank you once again, all the participants, for joining today's session. We have received numerous inquiries about the e-certificate offered by HRAI. To claim your certificate, please share your details, name, and session attended via email to the provided email address in the chat window. Kindly ensure this is completed by the end of this month. We will email the e-certificates to you based on the details received. So we have received some of the questions from the registrations. I'd just like to call it out. The first one is, what are some common mindfulness practices or exercises that beginners can start with? And how can someone incorporate mindfulness in their daily routine?
Yeah. So during the session, we did the body scan. Okay, that is one practice you can do. You can also focus on your breath. Okay, whenever there is anything that happens outside, okay, which is triggering you inside, instead of reacting, you bring your attention to your breath. Breath plays a very important role, right? So, three practices which I do every single day. One is meditation. Okay. Now, meditation, there is a nice analogy which I normally use. Okay. The analogy is, you've all seen how the milk boils, right? So, meditation, what it does, it will bring whatever needs your attention up. So, the cream comes up, right? And that is where you start working on. So, meditation is one thing. Second, I do is journaling. And third, I do is During the day, whenever I feel unease, I don't carry on with my day. I first work on my breath and then go to the next. Even my children know that, we need to breathe. So that's how commonly I use the breath work. Yeah. So these
Thank
practices, three.
you. Moving on to the next question, it is how can mindfulness help in managing stress and anxiety in the workplace?
Okay. So, uh, yeah. Now, this is a little complex because uh, anxiety, I was also going through anxiety. Okay. So, just as I told you, that for me, it has been a journey of, it started with my meditation, mindfulness, shadow work, inner child healing. Okay. But the simplest thing that you can do, simplest thing, is that you become aware. I don't know whoever asked that question to me, if you've seen this analogy which I did. Okay, now when you are anxious, what happens is that you enlarge the stress. Okay, you make it so big. So become conscious that your mind is doing this to you. When you become conscious, you don't, it's like, how uh, it's like an ocean. Okay, so let's say anxiety is an ocean and you are walking. Now, if you are not conscious, the wave will naturally touch your feet. But the minute you are conscious, okay, you start moving away from that. So for anxiety and stress, okay, first you start with all the three exercises which I have told you. That's the least you can do. When anxiety strikes in, you can, another simple thing which you can do is go for a walk in the nature. Okay, just go for a walk, because I have also realized that in our walls we don't get that feel which nature gives us. Okay, so the best thing, simplest thing you can do is just go for a walk. Okay, or contact me. Right. So four things I have said here. Meditation, start with that. Journaling, start with that, so that you start understanding yourself. And I'm again repeating, don't carry on with anxiety or any ill feeling. If we are feeling, attend to it. And fourth, go for a walk in the nature. It's very simple, right? At least this you do, you'll be better. Yeah.
The third question is what role does mindfulness play in improving personal relationship?
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, I had written this, but I didn't say it. Okay. What I have realized, my mind is completely transformed from what I was to who I am now. Okay. What happens? So I had also relationship issues. And there was a lot of reaction which was happening from my side because I did not know how to handle it. I became aware of how I was reacting. Okay. How things were hurting me. And I tell you one thing in terms of relationships, the relationships which are most hurtful, you learn the most from them. So, with relationships, don't react, observe what hurt it brings you, okay, and work on your hurt rather than blaming the opposite person, okay. The person is only triggering you, but the hurt is inside of you. You are responsible for that. So for relationship, I would say that don't react. Work. If you build a relationship with yourself, your external relationships will get better. Mine has. Okay, and I can vouch for that. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Ankita. We'll go with one last question, looking at the
Sure.
time. What challenges might someone face when starting a mindfulness practice, and how can they overcome them?
Ah, very nice question. So the biggest challenge one faces is that being distracted. Okay, our mind is distracted all the time, and what to do about this is that you focus on the breath. Okay. Like, for example, how do you build your muscles? You go to the gym, okay, and you practice. Mindfulness is also a skill. You have to practice it again and again. So distraction is one. Second is consistency. Okay. Now, why consistency is a problem? Because you don't start seeing results immediately. So that's why if you practice, you'll certainly be able. And the third thing, what challenge you face is, when I was speaking about relationship earlier, silence is the biggest challenge. We've not learned to be silent. When we are triggered, we react. Okay. So if you, the three challenges is, one, I said distraction. The other is being alert. And the third is being silent. Because when you be silent, you're observing more. And no, I said three, consistency I missed. Sorry, I missed consistency. So first is distraction, consistency, and incapable to keep silence. These are the three things you'll face.
Thank you, Ankita, for
That
answering
is
all
the
our
first.
questions so beautifully. And on behalf of everyone in attendance, I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to you for delivering such a wonderful and insightful webinar. Your expertise and a passion for the topic were evident throughout your presentation, and we are all greatly appreciated the depth of knowledge and practical advice you shared. As we approach the conclusion of today's session, it's imperative to express our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed event partners, Geisha, NASCOM COE, LinkedIn Local, Talgro, TLE, and WICCI. Their unwavering support has been instrumental in making these HRAI events possible. For further information about these associations, we encourage you to explore the provided links in the chat window. Thank you once again, dear speaker, for taking the time to share your wisdom with us. We look forward to future opportunities to learn from you and continue our journey towards mindfulness and mental clarity. Thank you, participants, for joining us today. Do join us for our next event on Connecting the Dots on 4th of July 2024. As we conclude today's webinar, we appreciate your participation. Stay safe, take care, and we eagerly anticipate our next interaction. Goodbye for now. See you soon.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Gita.
Yeah. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Take care.